Hello everyone, welcome to IT Tech Talk. I'm your host Joel Ward, and joining me again is Charlene Areche. How are you doing, Charlene?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, Joel.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. So Charlene, last time in the episode we talked about your being an influencer, being a plus size model. Today we're going to be diving into being more of an influencer and mental health and more body positivity. So let's start off with influencer. So will you give my listeners a little more in-depth about what you do as an influencer and the brands you promote and the wellness you promote?
Okay, being an influencer, first of all, being an influencer is a hard job. A lot of people think that, it's all photos and video making, but there goes a lot behind the scenes for creating a video, making a photo. There comes to working with brands, connecting, networking, and, makeup, hair. And then it comes video editing, which is one of the complex thing to do is creating your video, making sure to find the right sound for your video. So being an influencer is more of like a full-time job sometimes because it's really hard because you don't. There's a point where you want to find a switch to turn it off, but it is a full-time job, almost like having a child you have to take care of, and because it's there 24/7. But sometimes, we kind of neglect our mental health when it comes to being an influencer as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's a very demanding full-time job.
So now I don't remember if we talked much about it. Do you have a staff that does makeup or hair or any of the editing or anything, or do you do a lot of that yourself?
The majority of the time I do it myself. Sometimes I do like to hire, if I am going somewhere, if I do want to do like a full set of glam, I would want to hire someone. Usually I know people that someone that I work with that also does hair. Mm-hmm. And she owns a hair salon, and she's very handy. She's on the go. But it's more of the time I'm doing it myself. But again, if I want to do like a more of like a glamorous photo shoot, I would want to see if I could have some a makeup artist or salon, especially my hair. Going to the salon, doing my hair, and especially that some of these salonists that I work with do makeup as well. So that's very convenient.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And as far as video editing, do you do a lot of that yourself as well, or do you have a team that does the video editing, or do you hire like just an on the go, on the way kind of deal?
Yeah. So when it comes to video making, the majority of the time I am doing it myself. Sometimes I do wish to hire someone, but I could be a little bit picky when it comes to editing because I want to, in the end, I want to make sure that everything runs smoothly, but I feel like somewhere along the line, I might have someone edit my videos, like a videographer, try to edit my videos. I did have some investments in some, technology for video editing, so I think I want to advance more of getting someone to do my video editing, because it is very time-consuming, especially with YouTube.
It is. Yes.
Yeah, YouTube takes up a lot of time with uploading a video. Yeah,
I totally get that, because when I do all my stuff. I do my audio, video. It's a lot of work, and getting these episodes up as soon as they are ready to go. They're not live, so like as soon as I'm done, I have to edit it and put it up. So I totally get that. So being an influencer, let's discuss that. So being an influencer, you have all this stuff you have to do on a daily. Now, you basically, this is your full-time job, correct? You do this every day, being an influencer and being a model.
Yep, it has become a full-time job that I am able to write on my, taxes that, I'm investing in myself and, building my own brand as an influencer.
Yeah.
So it does take a lot of time. It is a full-time job, like I was talking about, especially that, when it becomes a full-time job, it's very important that your mental health is something that you have to put priority, because you do feel draining. You do feel a lot of competition, especially with other models. And especially especially when getting paid to do what you're doing on Instagram, on YouTube, TikTok, this becomes very competitive, and you do feel you kind of tend to overthink yourself. And I feel like every influencer does this to themselves too. We're not always going to have perfect days where we feel like, I love my body, self-care, body positivity is amazing. We're always going to have that insecurity that kind of just suppresses us down. And it's very important to, that's when you need to take a little bit of a step back, because that's when you need to be more self-aware of your emotional health, because it's very important to pay attention to, being self-aware of how you're feeling and how certain things are making you feel, and, kind of like block some of those things. For example, if you're following an account that doesn't make you might make you feel a little bit insecure, it's good to, not follow too much of those negativities. Like, the media could be a little bit negative sometimes on the news.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I think I told you this last show, that you are one of the, I follow a lot of plus size models, and one thing I've realized and noticed actually is a lot of them are very, I want to use the word fake. Like some of them don't project themselves as they're not vulnerable. And I see you're very vulnerable with your viewers and with your followers. Like I see you like showing off that you're like, oh, I don't have makeup on today, or this. And like I feel like you're very real with your followers. Yeah. And some of these people, like, they don't do that. They want to look perfect all the time. And one of the things that you can't be is perfect all the time. If you're not vulnerable, and like you said, if you're following this stuff and you're seeing them perfect all the time, it's going to make your mental health go down, because you're like, why can't I be perfect all the time? And that's really rough. And one of the things I appreciate about your channel and your Instagram is you seem to be like less fake and more real with life, and people can understand that and follow that. So I really appreciate that. So let's dive into that for a second.
Definitely,
What do you do daily that helps your mental health grow, to keep yourself on a stable plateau, where you're not like in like back and forth, like, why am I not pretty enough? Why am I this? What do you do to keep your mental health down? Yeah.
So that's a great question. I was just thinking about that earlier today. I'm like, this is why I like to promote my realness, the imperfection.
Yeah.
And like, I did a video not too long ago, doing my makeup before, before a photo shoot. And I, that kind of raises a little bit insecure, because people are seeing you without makeup, and you kind of, and I'm okay with that, putting that out there. This is how I look without no makeup, and everyone's gonna feel that way too. It's okay to wear your natural self, and then also it's also okay to just wear natural makeup. And sometimes we are gonna have days where we do not feel so pretty, and it's very important to just take a step back, like I was talking about, that a little bit step back from the social media, because sometimes the media could do more harm than good, and it's very important to follow accounts that are genuine, that are real, that show their stretch marks and show their cellulites, because it's very important to know that there's real people out there that represent models. And it's very important to know that, because sometimes we look at the media and we feel like, why can't we not be like them? And sometimes the media just misrepresent women, because they're trying to sell products. This is what they're doing. This is what they're doing to sell certain things. And we got to remind ourselves that the media sometimes is false advertisement. Most of the things are Photoshop, photo editing, and no one's not going to have the perfect skin or the perfect anything. Everything's just editing for marketing reasons. And that's one of the things I tell myself. I gotta remember that there's real things out there that are not put in the light, because some people are just embarrassed about it, or some people are very self-conscious about it. And it's very important to just embrace the things that you have that make you human, and not feel so in a box when everyone has the same things. Everyone's going to have blemishes, imperfections. Everyone's going to have that flaws. And I feel that more people feel that they tend to pay more attention to their flaws because they're looking at it constantly. So if you're looking at it more, for example, if I were to if I wanted to get a nose job and someone's like, no way, why would you get a nose job? And just like, your nose is perfect. But in reality, they're thinking, I need a nose job, and want to feel a certain way, feel a certain criteria. So it doesn't really faze them. But to that person, to them, it phases, you know what I mean?
I get. No,
so why people get like surgeries and stuff like that, because they tend to get a little bit self-cautious or insecure about those, and that's what triggers people to do certain things with their body.
Yeah. And it's sad because there's a lot of people who, I've seen a lot of females in my area who are really pretty and they end up doing things to change how they feel or how they look.
Yeah,
and it's sad because some of the kids, I went to school with some of these kids.
Yeah.
And some of these kids just change how they look. And they change how they look. And I just don't understand it. But then, hearing you talk, it's like people just get insecure about themselves. And, honestly, for the longest time, I was so insecure about how I looked and stuff. And I started changing how I dressed and stuff and how I did. And people started paying attention to me. And what I noticed is when I started dressing like the popular kids and doing what the popular kids did, I started becoming one of the popular kids. But what I never lost sight of was where I came from. Where I was part of the less popular crowd. No one wanted to hang out with me. And because I changed my appearance, people started paying attention to me. But just because they started paying attention to me didn't mean they were paying attention to me in a way that was positive. It was an attention that was more like a negative. They were like, oh, now that you look like us, you're going one of us. I don't think that's the case. I think everybody should love everybody. Everybody should love everybody, no matter what you look like. It doesn't matter if you have, like you said, cellulites or stretch marks or something. You should be happy with who you are, because your body tells a story of who you are as a person. And I'm sure you can attest to that. You've had a long and great career doing this, and I think it's great that you're promoting this and promoting that it's okay to show a little skin that has some stretch marks. It's not embarrassing.
Exactly.
So I do think that, as far as everything goes, you have really proven that to me, that there are decent people out there in the modeling industry. Now, one of the things I wanted to ask you is, I don't know if you've seen it, but there was I think it was Victoria's Secret posted a model and said she was their new plus size model, but she wasn't plus size. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, well, I know, but I have a sense of where this is going, especially with who auditioned with Lizzo, who's trying to get plus size models, but they're saying how many actual plus size model audition for this that were actually of a bigger size. Mm-hmm. And so many people think that just because they have a little bit of rolls on their belly, that makes them plus size. And that's one of the cringing, because the majority of women are average size 14 to 16 to 18. And that's what, the standard plus size woman is. Well, average size woman. And it just kind of, having someone that's a size 12 and under, and kind of, that doesn't play as a, that's not someone that is a plus size, model. And that's one of the things that a lot of influencers that support body positivity is kind of cringe about, because they're like, you're not a plus size. And that's what kind of suppresses more of the women who are a bigger plus size models, kind of, suppresses us in a little bit. Yeah,
and I'm sure it does, because it's like, it makes you feel like that, oh, that's how I should look. Am I right? Is that how you feel whenever you see that?
Well, it doesn't me typically know, but it kind of gives that to other women. You know what I mean? Other women, let's aim for, like, it aims for a younger woman, especially in high school, that they, they're up, they're trying to fit in, trying to look, and they see plus size models like this in Victoria's Secret, be like, this is exactly how I should fit in. And that's kind of creates a little bit of an unhealthy-ish thing for women who are bigger. Yeah, it kind of makes them
and that
not feel comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, and that can create even more damaging issues like bulimia and stuff, where you think that you need to fit in and you have to do whatever it takes to fit in. And I've seen a lot of that growing up in my high school and stuff. And it's just like people just want to fit in and be a part of something. And honestly, if you aren't your genuine self, if you aren't yourself with someone, they're not. I don't like people who are fake with me. I really don't. And I tend to go towards people who are more real with me and are honest and true about themselves, because that's more attractive to me than someone who is going to say, oh, hey, this is what you should be in life. And if you're not, then you're not part of the worldly crowd. And I can't do that. I just can't. So I applaud you for taking a stance against that and being like, hey, this is who I am as a person. And I actually watched a little bit of your makeup video, and it's just like, I will say, it doesn't matter if you have makeup or not, you are an attractive person. And I think that you excel in that because you may get a little timid about it, but you show off your greatest qualities when you're doing that for people, because people are like, oh my goodness, she's just like me. She's not just a popular person. She can be just like me. And I think that's awesome. So let's talk about that for a second. Mental health, as far as that goes, is there anything you can tell the younger viewers, the younger women who listen to the show, or people in general, what you do as far as like, hey, I take a mental health day, like I do personally. What do you do as far as that to like encourage other people? What is something you can encourage someone else with that say, hey, this is what I do. Maybe this might work for you.
Definitely, especially the younger viewers who are in high school and they're trying to find themselves, or having weight issues or anything like that. It is hard because society does, want you to look a certain way. We have that beauty standards that a lot of people try to fulfill, but those aren't unrealistic beauty standards. Like we were talking before, a lot of people have gotten surgery because they want to look a certain way. And the thing is, you got to remind yourself, never compare yourself. And the most important thing that you have to offer is your personality, because that is what values you as a person. You're more than a body, than your body. You have to make sure that you are embracing who you are and showing yourself in enjoying your life. Most importantly, so many people put life on hold because they feel like, maybe if I lose weight I could go out on vacation, or maybe if I lose weight I could fit into that wedding dress, or but it's very important to there's other women out there that are good inspirational models, who are plus size models that I follow, that are very inspiring to me. And that's what I look up to. I look up to their fame, their fortune, and that's kind of like, wow, they're doing so good. And that kind of, and that's how I glow. When I see other people glow, I get that sense of glowing too. And it's like we all reunite when your body, when you find a certain like when I first fell in love with the body positive community, I'm like, wow, I wish I would have known this when I was in high school, because I was like, we never had body positivity before, and everyone's like, I'm on a weight, I'm watching my weight, I gotta lose weight, everything's about weight loss and everything when you're in high school. And then getting out of college and knowing that there's a body positive movement of, media and models. And, when I first became a model, I was just very excited to be representing a plus size model. And that kind of just, changed my whole career, because, I started to gain more self-love before I even started modeling. And that's what gave me the confidence to step in. It takes a long time to find yourself, especially in the media. But I found myself, like I was saying, from inspirational people. That's how I found myself when it became of knowing that there's other people of my size who are doing amazing in this career. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you know what? And it's something that I see you. I follow you really closely on Instagram, and every time I see your posts, I try and like 'em if I see them all. But I do see you promoting a lot of just positivity, and even like on your stories, you're always smiling, and you have this like just aura around you. This is like, it's just like you're positive and you're happy. And I know that's not always the case, because there is probably some days where when that camera turns off and you're like, man, this day was just like a drag. And you're like, but I have to look good, because I can't. I personally, I try and make myself happy all the time. I try and smile for people, because I don't want people to see me when I'm down, because I want other people around me to be happy. I don't like seeing people seeing me when I'm down. But then again, there's cases when sometimes, like, you know, you have to let people see your vulnerabilities. You have to let people see where you're at, because like if you are helping people all the time but they're not helping you, you know, you're just gonna be miserable. So one of the things I do appreciate is I see you, you know, doing that and being positive. But what I want to ask you is, is there days where you're just like, I just need someone to talk to? I just need days where I have like a me day? Like, I'm sure there's me days. Is there days like that for you?
Yeah. And there's definitely days like that. Recently I had a day like that not too long ago. And more of it, I feel like it's sometimes like for, you know, men and women experience this differently. Especially like if you're a woman, you go through it hormonally, but if you're a man, you go through it differently, because men can't cover up in makeup like we do. So, you know, it's very important to have that self-care and self-love, and to treat yourself like, you know, like you're royalty, because then you're going to feel that way. The way you think is how you're going to feel. And it's very important that if you feel good, if you make you feel good, you're gonna look good, and people are gonna know that. So it's very important to make you emotionally, because you're gonna have emotional needs that you need. And like I was saying before, I had days like that where I didn't feel so, like, not, you know, like you're gonna have days where you don't feel pretty, and it's gonna be uncomfortable, and it's gonna feel uncomfortable to the point where, you know, you just feel like giving up sometimes, and you gotta remind yourself, that's when you gotta remind yourself who you are as a person. You know, you know, you gotta give yourself affirmations, you know, like, you are successful, you're going to do amazing things, you're doing a great job. Why do you have to feel this way? You know, you're gonna be doing amazing things in your life, and you know, what would you get out of if you would give up right now? You come so far in your life, and now you want to like give up. And that's kind of pet talks you need to have with yourself. Is you gotta, you know, you're gonna be your own best coach. So it's very important to know that not everyone, you know, you might have comments, you know, your followers are going to be your best supporters, where they, you know, they want to uplift you, but the most important relationship you need to have with is yourself, because that's how you're going to, you know, continue uplifting other people. So it's very important to know that, you know, you are your biggest supporter as well.
So you talk about positive affirmations. I use those a lot. I'll wake up in the morning and I'll tell myself, look, as soon as you walk into a room, as soon as you wake up, you're the most successful person. I tell myself that. I'm the most successful person out there, and I can do this. I can do it every day. I tell myself, as soon as you walk into a room, you are the most confident, you're the most successful. Doesn't matter if everybody else in there doesn't think you are the most successful person.
Exactly.
And one of the things that I've learned by doing that and telling myself that is, when I walk into a room and someone makes a joke about how, like, they think I'm dumb and stuff, I just laugh it off. I'm like, you know what, buddy? I'm better than you at this point. Like, I'm still growing. I'm still accepting. And it's one of those things that I have. And it's one of the things that I realize is great. And I like that positive affirmations is a good thing. And a lot of people don't understand is you need to use that. You do.
And you got
because
to remember,
if you don't, you're going to feel miserable.
You gotta remember, there's always going to be those certain people that are going to drag you down, because they envy your success. They envy that you're doing good. And you gotta remember that, you know, we're gonna all have those people as influencers. Everyone's gonna have that, you know, but it's always good to remember that who you are as a person, like, saying you're successful, you're doing so good, and just, block out all the hate. Especially, it's so good that Instagram and TikTok has those hate comments that you could block off. So it's very good to have that. So to not, because, little things like that in the beginning do get to you, but you just brush it off, because that's just the start of your fame. That's just the beginning. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I think that's totally awesome. One of the things that I have realized over the years is there is haters out there. It doesn't matter how successful you've gotten and how much you've proven to somebody. There is people out there who are like, man, he's doing great, but he's still a loser. And one of the things is you got to keep telling yourself is, no matter what, you're still good, you're still successful. Doesn't matter how many times they say that you're not doing great, you are on top. Whether you like it or not, and even if you're not a billionaire or a tech mogul or you're an influencer or a model, doesn't matter. Like these positivities, like you being motivating yourself, doesn't matter. You don't have to be famous or anything to motivate yourself. Motivate yourself regardless. Say, hey, I am successful today. Doesn't matter if I don't have a company. Doesn't matter if I'm not a top model. Doesn't matter whatever. You give yourself positivity because you know that you need it, and like you said, there is a lot of haters out there, and it doesn't. One of the things that they're going to do is they're still going to continue to. Doesn't matter if you're saying, hey, I'm positive today, they're going to still hate on you, because that's one of the things they do. They're miserable in their lives, so they're going to try to make you miserable in your life.
The keys to never.
And you just. Yep, and you just gotta keep going with it. You gotta roll with the punches. You gotta wake up every day with the mission that I'm going to succeed today. You're gonna pick. I think you can agree to this. Pick some goals. Pick some goals and try to achieve them. And I know I'm sure you do that every day, is picking some goals and achieving them.
Yep. Definitely. Sometimes there is days where I do want to rest, and there's some days where you're up. All right, let's pick it up today. And it's okay. It's okay to get rest days, because not every day is going to be perfect. I'm on a schedule. I try to work on certain times when my daughter's in school, and I got it when I want time to myself. It's okay. And then when, the next day, it's time to get to work, time to get serious. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome, because I'm sure you give your daughter those positive affirmations, like you're a good person, you're going to do great in school today. I'm sure you pass that on to her. Yep. I'm sure I do that to my son. I'm like, I tell him all the time he's loved. I make sure, that's one of the things, is like, mental health doesn't just affect adults, it affects children. And a lot of children in today's society deal with a lot more peer pressure than what I dealt with when I was a kid. And so there's so much going on. So you always want to positively reinforce your child, positively reinforce someone else in that matter. Not just your child. If you have children, that's great. But if you don't, be positively uplifting a neighbor or a friend or a family member, because that's something that, they could be going through something, and a smile and that a boy, you can do this, would be something that maybe that might uplift them. They might need that today. So I really think that's something that we need to as a collective as people.
Yeah, I definitely want to add to that. What are you saying? I want to add to that. You brought up a great point, especially when it comes to when you tell someone, wow, you're doing a great job, you are putting blessings in your life. You're creating certain things that if you believe God, if you tell someone, that if you trying to say that
you're fine.
But for example, if someone just bought a car and, God blessed them with the car, and you say, well, congratulations, you telling that person congratulations is sending yourself blessings. So it's not taken away from your success because, someone else bought a car or bought a house. Is not taken away from you. Your blessing is on your way. And especially it's coming on your way faster than you think when you bless that person with congratulations, or you're doing amazing, or giving that person a positive, uplifting, because that just puts more of that, blessings onto your life when you see that in other people. So it's very important to give people positive, appraisal, because that is blessings that, we've seen, when you have that opportunity, it's really good to see that in other people. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things one of my guests actually recently said was they see the good and the bad. And you were saying that it's like, doesn't matter how, like, say your neighbor is just bought that car, and you're like, man, I don't have a nice car. Well, it doesn't matter. Later down the road, something might happen and you'll get blessed with a car or a new house or a new job, and you don't rub it in someone's face when you get something nice. You say, hey, that's a nice thing you did. I'm trying to do something good for myself. So, like, positively uplift yourself, positively uplift someone else, give them blessings, because that blessings will come back on you. Doesn't matter if it's the next day or the same day, it'll happen, and you'll feel much better in the end when you do it.
Exactly.
So, no, I do think that's awesome. Well, we are hit our end of our show. I really enjoyed this. Like, this was awesome. I really can't wait to see the comments and stuff rolling out from this show. I really can't wait to get the emails and the messages from people who have watched the show. Charlene, thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure. I do hope we can get you on the show in the future. I really enjoy having you on, and actually there's questions I want to ask you after the show, and I will see if we can get those out. But thank you so much for joining me. Everyone, please stay safe out there. I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and tune in for the next episode.